Yeah,
Thank you.
well, the question is, when our students, right, have a lot of business ideas to
Hmm.
start with,
Yeah,
I mean, they feel quite challenging
yeah,
to pick up one.
yeah.
I mean, when you actually, in your early days, how you actually select the correct or right business ideas and what kind of steps did you take to bring it to life?
Well, I didn't have many ideas, to be honest with you, because I came from law background. I did my law degree in the UK.
Yeah.
So all I wanted to build is my practice here. But later on, I found out that in China you cannot practice law. It's not allowed.
It's different.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah,
It's not allowed. I
it's
mean,
different.
foreign
Yeah.
foreign lawyers are not allowed to sit for the bar. So what you can do is, like, there are only a few options. You can either work through local law firms as a consultant, which I did actually. I started with a local company here, law firm in Shanghai. I collaborated with them
Yeah.
as a foreign consultant.
Mm-hmm.
This is how I kind of started entering this field and get like
Mm-hmm.
taste of it. And
Yeah.
then I thought, like I mentioned earlier, I thought, like, what I need to build my own firm here, I need cash flow, obviously.
Mm.
I need cash
Yeah,
flow, a
yeah,
lot of
exactly.
cash. So the only way to do that is actually, look around and
Through.
yeah, China. What is the strongest part of China? It is export.
Mm.
It is production.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, why
Mm-hmm.
don't I just start with that? So I
Mm.
contacted a lot of factories here, and then at the same
Yeah.
time try to find some clients in my country
Mm-hmm.
to start
Mm-hmm.
from, and then yeah, slowly it kind of built on its own. We started like
Mm-hmm.
official channel of the company
Yeah.
on YouTube and on like Chinese social media like Weibo.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm.
it's it's a it's a must thing to do, like when you are entering the Chinese market, to take advantage of this
Definitely.
local social media. And
Yeah.
that was the starting point. I remember like building my official channel on WeChat, day and night posting about products, trying to catch some clients. But then, yeah, once you
Yeah.
find one client, I'm still a firm believer on that, 80/20 kind of rule.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I still have, early clients that, like, first few clients, they build up the rest
Mm-hmm.
of the clients, basically, both for trading and consultancy. So we helped them with import and export.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
sourced them, and then at the same time, I was like marketing my legal consultancy services for them. I said, okay, if you are
Exactly.
like actively trading with China, why don't you just set up your own
Mm.
company here, which we can
Mm.
consult? I can be your lawyer here, etc. And then they
Yeah.
agreed to
This.
that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was the starting
Yeah.
point. Slowly, like getting clients for trading, and then kind of
Yeah.
marketing our consulting services.
Mm-hmm.
So this is
Yeah.
how, yeah, it built up. But yeah, coming back to your question, like coming up with ideas, I guess, one of the because I participated in a lot of like startups as well as a consultant. So what I
Mm-hmm.
see, one of the common mistakes among this, building companies or startups is just they try to
Mm.
bring some novelty ideas, most of the
Yeah.
time, which
Yeah.
is, in my opinion, which is one of the crucial mistakes, because novelty ideas they are good, but it takes a lot of time to educate the market, to
Mm-hmm.
tell the people what it is, to explain. It takes time and resources. I think it's good only when you have some sort of budget for it. If you have some
Exactly.
sort of
Yeah.
like
Yeah. You have a
investors,
strong
that's
financial
great.
support
Yes,
or
exactly.
investment.
Exactly.
Obviously.
In
Yeah.
our case,
Mm.
unfortunately, we didn't have that. So coming up with novelty idea was not an option. It's
Mm.
kind of a common sense, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
as an entrepreneur, you have to really weigh your options, weigh the elements, the facts, etc.
Yeah.
So if you have financial support, then go for it. Educate the market, disrupt the market. That's great.
Yeah.
But still, if you look at the a lot of like big companies nowadays, like billion-dollar
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
startups, they're not novelty
Yeah.
ideas. They kind of, quote unquote, ride the market. You just have to pick one idea which is existing, which is, successful, and then
Mm-hmm.
take it from there, make it a slightly different, make it maybe slightly shiny.
Marginal
Then,
differences. Yeah.
yes, put your own spice on it, and then
Mm.
that's your business, basically, because there's an
Yeah.
existing audience, an existing
Mm-hmm.
market.
Existing markets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so maybe you can try to, put some like different functionality maybe on the same product. So this is what we
Mm.
did basically with my consulting company. What we are trying to do is
Yeah.
kind of, we are focusing on extremely niche markets. which other competitors are not offering services in. For example, Central Asia. Right now, a lot of companies, a lot of businesses from China, specifically speaking, they're trying to enter the Uzbekistan market or Central Asian market, and they immediately face with this language, cultural barrier, and also like a lack of information. There's not much information available on the internet. So this is what we are bringing on the table. Being from Uzbekistan myself, we have a lot of like connections, obviously. So we put everything in like a simplified text or video, and then that's our advantage basically. And also we, in my opinion, our company is kind of what we are trying to do is we present ourselves as a boutique company rather than serve everyone company. I don't take everybody as client, so probably that's one of the advantages.
So you take them selectively.
Yes, exactly. Selectively on there's a limitation. We don't take more than 10 clients per month, so that we are available for them 24/7. That's what the boutique company do.
So basically, you focus on the quality instead
Yes,
of the quantity of
absolutely,
your clients.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So you give them you give them a lot of attention, and you build the customer relationship really well.
Yes, I am an old school, to be honest with you. Because like I mentioned earlier, like it's a 80-20 principle. I still have my early number one client with me. For example, it's very rare that the clients leave the company because we give our absolute best. Bring the A game, to be honest. So the client is the king.
Yes. I think building trust with your customers is quite important, isn't it? Once you have the trust in place, they'd like to explore other business opportunities with you, which means you might actually start with a one-off purchasing of your services or something like that. Then gradually you could actually build a whole portfolio of services for your existing customers, and they become your loyal customers. And that's what we always talk about, their lifetime value.
Exactly.
The longer they stay with you, the value would be higher, much higher.
Exactly.
So, the retention rate is very good.
And also sometimes people underestimate the fact that business networking is actually where your clients come from. For example, you serve your first early clients really well because they are entrepreneurs, because they are like kind of successful businesses. They are like associates who they can talk about your business, your service. That is the like maybe overlooked element in trying to getting clients or leads.
Yeah. So you would encourage our students to attend some of the networking events,
Yeah, absolutely.
Try to actually build the connection with their potential markets.
Absolutely.
And from there, they can be referred to more people or businesses.
Absolutely. A lot of in 2024, maybe in the last 5 years, I would say social media has become really trendy and things like that. That's great. I don't discourage people building their social media presence, but to be honest with you, for example, take a look at big four companies, big accounting firms in the world, right? Everybody knows them. If you look at their social media profile, that's not great. You can look at their, for example, YouTube. They're not very active. YouTube profile, or I don't know, social like a Facebook or even TikTok. There is a reason for it. There is a reason for it, because most of the successful people, or most of high net worth individuals, or let's say, I don't know, big companies, they don't sit on social media and watch videos, to be honest with you. There is a market for it. There is a field for it. For example, if you're doing some sort of online store, maybe drop shipping or some sort of Amazon business, etc. Driving traffic through social media is absolutely mandatory. But when it comes to serious clients, if you want to catch serious businesses, you have to attend meetings, you have to build rapport with them, you have to really build relationships. Otherwise, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. I think it really depends on the nature of a business, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
As you mentioned, if you want to have substantial revenue generated from a major client, it's quite important you place enough attention to building the trust with them, which means not just on the social media platform, but you have to meet them in person, isn't it? So I think that is very important. Even though we are using our mobile phones and pad and all this every day, we kind of everyone has the internet presence at the moment, but it's still important that we keep the personal touch. Yeah,
Sure.
okay. I think that's fantastic advice. When you actually set up your business in China, I mean, again, it's a different country, isn't it, from your country, and the language is different, the culture is different.
Mhm.
I mean, and especially Chinese culture is quite subtle sometimes,
Yeah.
How you actually, overcome all these barriers?
Well, I think, I mean, I'm going to be very honest, okay? So, to be honest,
Yeah,
like,
please do.
yeah, it all boils down to the character or nature of the person, I guess.
Mm.
Because, I'm the kind of person that I never, for example, never ever felt homesick or,
Yeah.
yeah, wherever I go, like I spent some time in the UK, for example, even back in the UK, I never like felt like, oh, I need to go back to my home country. I miss that and this.
Mm-hmm.
And I never, yeah, my nature is not like that. So I came to China, and China was like really like amazing new world. So every opportunity, every new thing was kind of,
Yeah.
I was
Mm-hmm.
still am, I'm still curious about learning different aspects of the Chinese culture and trying to understand people here like that. But of course, like I understand, your point. There are people who need to overcome this kind of barriers. So I guess for them is, they need to really think about, if that market is right for them. To be honest, because there are like 200 countries, let's say like more than 190 countries in the world. You can go to the places where you are treated best or where you feel like it's the right place for you. So yeah, my recommendation would be, if you're feeling like awkward or if you're feeling like not easy in a particular market, you need to act quickly. Maybe go and explore other places where you are, welcome, where you feel home.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So when they're thinking about where to set up their business, they
Mhm.
always need to think about where they want to live, isn't it?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
choosing the location, the place they feel comfortable with. I
Absolutely.
mean, it's
Yeah.
great that you said, you feel welcomed in different places. I think it's all down to your positive mentality.
I guess so,
I mean,
because yeah. Go ahead.
everything has good and bad sides, isn't it? But when you look at the bright sides,
Mhm.
you obviously internally getting very positive, and maybe that's the mentality you have, which help you to
Yeah.
actually, overcome all these challenges. But when you set up business in China, okay,
Mhm.
you have to deal with people who speak Mandarin.
Mhm.
But do you need to find someone who actually has a very fluent, Mandarin speaking ability to
Mhm.
be your partner? So that would help you, set your business and run your business.
Yeah, I mean, to some extent, yes. If you are able to do so, to have a local partner, trustworthy partner from early
Yeah.
on, that's going to make everything easy. But in my situation, it was not the case. Obviously, because I came here like,
Right.
to be honest, like
Yeah.
back in the UK, I was planning to go to Hong Kong. This is where I saw my future, because I thought Hong Kong is the place where I can practice my thing, my legal consultancy,
Yeah.
and then I don't know, it's the center of finance. But I had a friend actually, right before I left London. I had a friend, a Chinese guy from Shanghai, and he convinced me actually to come to mainland, not Hong Kong. He
Yeah.
said, actually, I'm really glad that he convinced, because one of the things he said, that mainland is going to be, a major player in world, economics and world business. So, yeah, this is kind of, is turning out to be true, to be honest. So I'm glad that I came here. But when I came here, it was just to see the country. I didn't have any plans to like really like
Yeah.
stay here long term. But then, like I said, my nature is that, I got really curious, and I said, okay,
Yeah.
China is massive, so let me just explore. And then I met this law firm that I mentioned earlier, and they had a lot of like, English speaking stuff there, very professional. Some of them, did their law degree in the US, in UK, etc. So yeah, that was the starting point. And being a very honest person, to be honest, like, for me, I put
Yeah.
everything on the table. I said, okay, this is the situation. I want to start my own business. I need, you guys, please help me if you can. And I'm going to, be a consultant for you for free. I will, take charge of some of your maybe clients for free. You don't have to pay me. So that was the thing, it was kind of a risky thing, but this is what I do with, to be honest, with everybody, like even with clients. We put
Yeah.
everything on the table. We trust you first, and then if you reciprocate, that's great. If you don't, then it's just business. It's life. We move on, So yeah.
Well, okay, yeah. So actually, you didn't plan to, a long time ago, actually, to get settled in mainland China and to settle your business, isn't it?
Yeah.
That gradually, once you find, as you just mentioned, being very curious about new things, and you sense the opportunities in China, and then you set it from there.
Yeah.
Your early days, sound very interesting to me. Must be quite inspiring for our students as well. Okay. Well, that's great. I was asked by some students actually after our last session. They're very keen to understand if they're eligible to set up their business in China. Obviously, you proved to them that it is absolutely fine, isn't it? As a foreigner,
Yeah,
you can
absolutely.
register your business in China, and they actually want to understand a little bit more about the process of business setup in China. Could you just give them some idea of that?
Yeah, sure.
Would it be very complicated?
And it's not complicated. It's just the only thing is about the language. But of course, this is why companies like us are here to assist. So basically, if you speak Chinese, Mandarin, you can basically go to the company registrar and do the whole process yourself. And you don't have to pay anybody. All you need is you just have to travel to China with a business visa. Make sure you travel to China with business visa, because when you're opening the company's bank account, banks do not accept other types of visas to open a company bank account. So that's one of the requirements. Apart from that, is just like in any other country, you just have to come up with a unique name. There's an application form. If you do it through an agency, like our company, for example, the application is already translated into English, just so the clients, they can read and understand. So you just have to fill out the application, write down the Chinese company's name. But maybe unlike other countries, in China, there are 2 positions required by the government. Don't ask me why, because it's complicated, but you need to prepare 2 people, separate individuals. They can be of any nationality, any country citizen, doesn't matter. So one is company director, another one is company supervisor. So these 2 people can be company shareholders as well. They can own the company, and share structure is entirely up to them. They can take these 2 positions and then apply for the company license. At the time of company, applying for the company license, they need to write down something called registered capital of the company. Registered capital is a slightly different concept from paid-in capital, because for example, some of the European countries, a concept of paid-in capital exists. For example, a common example is Germany. In Germany, if you want to set up a company, a paid-in capital must be no less than 20,000 euros. For example, you have to pay that in. You have to put that in the company account immediately. Yes, cash basically. But in China, it doesn't exist. They eliminated it in 2016, if I'm not mistaken. So before that, China had this paid-in capital, which was $140,000. But now it doesn't exist. Now they replaced it with something called registered capital. And registered capital, time frame to inject the registered capital is 5 years. That used to be, again, before 2024, it used to be, the time frame used to be 50 years, 50. But now from this year, they shortened to 5 years, 10 times less than previously, yes. But now still 5 years is enough time to test the market. Yeah, and then there's also a good thing about the policy change as well, because previously registered capital was substantially big, because it used to be like no less than 300,000 USD, for example. Even though it's 50 years, $300,000 is kind of a commitment. But now, according to new policy, they decreased the time frame to 5 years, but then registered capital can be as low as 10,000 yuan. 10,000 yuan is a little bit over than $1,000. So that's very practical for many entrepreneurs, especially those who don't have any access to any financial support. So $1,000 is all you need, basically. And then you can immediately actually inject now. It's, very easy to inject 10,000, yuan. So, and then waiting period for the business license is approximately 10 days. So once you have the business license, you can apply for a bank account here, but you have to be present, like I mentioned, with company director, company supervisor. They have to come here in person, and it takes 1 day to open a bank account. Right after that, we register the company with the tax department, And after that, the last step is to, if it's a import and export company, we need to register the company with the customs department to obtain this import and export permit. And that's it. The company is active. Now, regarding the active,
very easy.
yeah, it is. It's not, except for this language barrier. Yeah. And also, there's a lot of like misinformation going on the internet. I would say like 95% of the information available, unfortunately, it's generated by a lot of like media who who are benefiting. Misleading, or even some of the financial companies who are operating in other countries. So obviously they don't want the clients to set up the base in China, but in other countries. Because sometimes I come across with this kind of news, and then some clients as well, I try to direct them to the right direction. But then again, so it's a lot of misinformation on the internet.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for clearing all this. Just followed up on what you said about the visa. You said in order to be a business owner in China, you need to actually be the holder of a business visa. The majority of our students, when they graduated, they have a student visa. How you actually solve that problem? How to transfer from the student to...
No, student visa is acceptable as well. Sorry, I didn't include that. Student visa is also acceptable, but there is a catch. For students, they have to be very careful because the policy says, as a student, you can start a company in China, but once the company's business license is ready, you need to immediately switch the company's visa. You need to apply for work visa and work permit, because student visa does not allow you to work, generate income. So this only aspect, you have to be extremely careful. Otherwise, it will be treated as illegal work, and you might find yourself in a problematic situation.
So, for example, if our students, if they're going to graduate in 1 year time, they actually could have planned, their business, ideas, and once they graduate, they can straight away set up their business.
Absolutely,
and transfer their student visa to business or work permit.
That's the idea. Yes.
Right. Okay. Fantastic. That's really good.
Yeah.
Thank you for explaining all
No
this
problem.
to us. Right.
No problem.
Right. Going back to other more questions our students are interested in. Because last session we talked about the minimal viable test, which is called MVT. Speaking from your personal experience, right? Have you prototyped your business in a small and manageable scale? As you mentioned, you started with trading. You have you prototyped it so that you could test it?
For startups, that's mandatory, obviously. But in my experience, that was not the case, because we did a traditional business. It was not a startup. Even nowadays, like my consultancy firm, it's old type of business. It's not like a market disrupting, an idea. But again, I participated in many startup pitches as a consultant, as a legal consultant, etc. So from that experience, I know that whatever startup you're doing, whatever kind of novelty idea that you're bringing on the table, MVP is absolutely mandatory, because otherwise you don't know the market reaction. You don't know, and you will end up wasting a lot of time and resources as well. Yes, and so that's to avoid that's the reason why MVP exists. I encourage everybody to come up with the cheapest model, cheapest kind of product they can build, and immediately, as soon as possible, test the market, because otherwise you just end up yourself. Sometimes ideas expire as well, and I saw a lot of startups here, both like local owned, foreign owned. They think about the idea for extremely long time. They spend a lot of time developing the idea. By the time the idea is ready, it's already expired. It's not needed anymore. So
yes, because the market has been changing all the time.
Exactly. Yes.
Developing a new idea, prototyping a new product, and testing on the market. All these processes need to be as quickly as possible.
As quickly as possible.
Yes, simplified, and So this one of our students asked a question just now. He asked, can you suggest that apps that need to be filled with biodata for contacting different companies?
Well, the first thing comes to mind is LinkedIn, obviously. It's not a new idea, but to be honest, like LinkedIn is the place where you should start. I did that and it worked out for me. Maybe there are some data collection, like private companies, smaller companies that you can pay some money. In China, there are several actually. You pay some subscription, and then they get you the contacts of many like executives and things like that. It exists. But why spend a lot of money where you can use free resources? So LinkedIn, free version of LinkedIn is good enough to contact executives or potential clients in your field. And another idea that I would still like encourage people to use, the tool to use is go back to the traditional roots. Like again, I'm being an old school. I don't believe in all that application thing. Just because serious business people, they don't have time to spend a lot of time on applications. This is like real hardcore truth, because in every field, business owners, like VIP people, they don't have time. They don't sit around on Instagram and watch like videos and content. I don't have time, to be honest. My business is not very big, but I don't have time to sit on social media. Just a small example here. So what I recommend is, if you are living like, I don't know, in London, in New York or whatever, join the local club, join the local like offline book readers club or gym. I don't know, golf. Even if you're not interested in golf, for example, go to the golf club, try to build some sort of connection with the real people there, because those are the people who are staying at the top. Those are the people who are ruling the companies, and whoever is sitting on social media, probably they are in different markets. Like again, we need to separate. Maybe there are some categories like e-commerce. If you're doing business in e-commerce, absolutely, take advantage of the social media. But if you're doing like a traditional business, try to go to the traditional roots. Use those traditional tools.
Well, sometimes you never know. You actually might end up with building a serious business relation with someone through your social activities.
Of course, yes.
So, well, especially in such a casual environment, you might actually have a quite honest conversation with them. You might actually know these people even better.
Exactly.
So I think our students should be encouraged to either through their supervisors connection, or through their classmates connection or local connection, try to reach out and build their connections and know how the real world is operating.
Exactly.
Going outside of the campus.
That's what I recommend all the time.
Okay. Fantastic. Right. I mean, we've when we had some previous sessions, we talked about business model campus and all this. I know it might sound a little bit textbook, but Alex, when you actually develop your business, what kind of tools have you used, and you find them quite useful in particular?
Regarding the tools, there are several comes to mind, which I still use, and there are not many actually. One of the tools I really like until this day is the spreadsheets. That's the again, I'm sorry, but I'm a very old school, probably.
Well,
I sound
actually. People don't know how to use them.
So spreadsheets are exactly very powerful if you really like because it helps you to plan everything. So I still use them for everything, basically. Collecting data for clients, even like keeping an eye on the budget, planning, etc. All the spreadsheets. And one particular tool I like, another tool, which is something called Calendly.com. Calendly is a service that's been around for quite some time now, because again, I'm a firm believer of filtering the clients, like I mentioned before. So in our business, we cannot afford wasting time. So what I do is we very early on we set up this paid consultancy on the website through this Calendly.com. And if people are willing to purchase, paid consultation from myself, that's a good sign. If they're not willing to do so, that's a red flag. So we just, cross them off, and then it's not worth my time to even speak to them, because consultancy works like that. In every business, I would say like time is your money, because if you like spend a lot of time on unqualified clients. Your unqualified clients, even if you end up taking them, they become your, liability rather than assets. So you need to look for like building assets, because they come back and bite you, if they're not if they are not qualified clients. So you need to set up your standards first. Set your standards for your company, and this is the minimum I go, right? Below that, I will not go. So that is my standard. And if like when trying to make some leads, talking to clients, always go back to your standards and principles, so you don't go below that. And these are the two like major tools that I use. But maybe there are some minor tools, like for example, as a business owner, I think you need to have an iPad, because there are some really good applications. For example, mind mapping application. Sometimes I just randomly
that's what we learned as well.
randomly start mind mapping, and then some ideas lead to another, etc. So you never know what kind of ideas you might come up with. You just have to take a pen and then write it down, and then just try to generate ideas from there.
Yep. Of course, we need to have ideas as many as possible, isn't it? Because that's how we explore.
Sometimes business needs solutions. That's the thing. Like if you really just sit still and then try to think of a solution, you might never find that solution just inside your head. But take a piece of paper, not necessarily an iPad, just start drafting, start writing, and then you might come up with a solution. Yes. So
yes, exactly. That's how I feel. I strongly recommend that as well. Right, our students asking how to spell the website, which is called Calendly.
CALEND, Calend, LY.com, Calendly. Calend. It's just from the calendar. Calend. CALENDLY.com. I've been using them since since 5 years. We started
5 years.
It's a paid like they've developed a lot of functionality as well, but primarily I use them to book like for the clients to book consultation with me. So you can link your Visa card. In our case, it's like company account is linked, so clients can they make a payment, and then according to the timetable they just choose whatever time they want and book a call. That's it. Otherwise, I don't talk to them. Very simple.
Good idea. Because I haven't paid you yet for your time.
No. It's I'm actually honored to be here.
I'm only kidding. Right. Okay. Gosh, I have so many questions to ask, and the next one is. Right, we all know the journey, of setting up business, running a business, are full of risk and uncertainty. Will you be able to share with us what could be the biggest risk you've been taken, and what's your reflection on that?
You mean in risk in business, or?
Yes, risk and uncertainty in your business.
Well, in our business, the risk is the legal aspect. Being the legal consultant, the biggest risk is the legal aspect, because I always keep telling my assistant and the staff we have, is just in the legal consultancy, you have to always imagine that somebody's recording you. Somebody's watching you all the time. You just have to be vigilant. You just have to be alert all the time, because this happens quite often. So because in some businesses you just forget about it, and you might say something that it might backfire. But in our case, in our field, we cannot afford that. So you say something wrong, and which is true. Sometimes people record you, which is so that's why even if you're sleeping, you just have to be all the time professional and keep watch what you're saying. So that's the biggest risk, to be honest with you. Because it happened quite often, because there are some clients, even they pass the filter, we think that they are qualified, but from the ethical perspective, sometimes clients or people in general, they might not be ethical enough, so they might take advantage of the friendly conversation. So we have this very strict rule in the company with the clients. Even if you develop some friendly relationship, watch what you're saying all the time. You just have to stay alert. That's it.
It's not easy job, sounds to me.
No, I mean, it's lawyer's job basically. You just you just have to wear the uniform all the time, otherwise.
How about those policies, regulations? I mean, and the change of the market and all this. Do you think those things will bring some unforeseen risks to your business?
No, I wouldn't.
Or the change in the financial resources, and
I wouldn't say that, because our company, although we operate mainly in China, we don't serve only in China. So there are like more than 190 countries, and we are gradually trying to increase the number of countries that we are serving in. So right now, literally speaking, right now we are offering corporate consultancy services in a little over than 100 countries. So that's like, yeah, there are millions of opportunities. Even some policies change. I'm not afraid of challenges, and no, yeah, and then increase the number of countries. Or actually, if you go back to the core of the business, you do business only if you're flexible. If you're not flexible, then business is not for you. You just have to find a job and work for that company. That's it. You just have to be flexible. Otherwise, you're not able to build anything.
Definitely. So you have to keep yourself as well as your business as flexible.
Of course.
Agile, possible to suit the change of the market and policies.
Yeah, one of the principal rules of a startup that, for example, you mentioned people doing startup is to be able to pivot. If they're not able to do that, they will not build anything. Because market is like that. Market is always volatile. It keeps changing in every industry. So sometimes you start with, I don't know, building, some sort of box for products, and then you end up selling T-shirts. That's how it works. So, yeah.
Yep. Yes, which is quite true, isn't it? I mean, even though we can plan a lot of things in advance, but reality actually can bring us to another direction.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, running a business is kind of like a bittersweet experience, challenges and hardships, but there must be some sweet side of it.
Of course.
I mean, let's talk about the sweet side. One of the things can you share with us one thing you're mostly proud of during your journey?
Well, to be honest, I'm not there yet, but one of the very small elements probably being a business owner is the freedom that comes with it. That's one of the things. Because again, if I go back to the nature, to the character, I cannot stand being told what to do, to be honest with you. I worked for some companies, and then that's not for everyone, but personally speaking, I don't like taking orders from others. So even if I'm wrong, I would like to build my own thing, and then watch it fail if it takes.
Well, that's answer some questions like that in your employment interview. I think you'll fail.
Yeah. No, well, I would gladly, because to be honest, I'm not a good employee, so to speak. If I tell you a little short story, I quit my old job because I had a disagreement with my manager. So that was the reason. So they were telling me to do something, and I disagreed, and that's it. That was the end. So again, this is not for everyone. But talking about the advantages, small sweet thing about being a business owner is the freedom aspect that comes with it. You decide what to do with your own time, and you decide when to open your doors. But again, of course, to stay at the edge, and then to be competitive, you have to, of course, very attentive and very start early. Yeah, but then there's a downside as well. Probably some people might not be able to take, which is long hours. Because at work,
strike the balance between life and work.
Yeah, exactly. At work, for example, you finish your work at 6 o'clock strict, and you can go home. But when it's your own thing, there are no weekends. There are no 9 to 5 schedule. You just have to sit long hours.
Yeah, that's a real life for entrepreneurs, isn't it? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, so unless someone really enjoys it. Otherwise, I would say, and you would advise that, the better way maybe is to work for someone else.
Yeah, of course, because there are so many good companies. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not black and white or right.
No, absolutely not.
Personal choice.
Absolutely not. Actually, starting a company, if somebody asks me if they should start a company, I would immediately say no, you should not, because if you are asking this question, maybe starting a business is not for you. That's it. That's hardcore line. Because if you need to start a company, it comes from within. You need to decide, and you should not ask others. If you're asking this question, maybe you're not quite ready yet.
Yeah, not very determined.
No, not very determined. Because, again, this is a very basic concept of, being very true to yourself. If you're not true to yourself, you don't understand what you want to do, then probably you should not. Because if you start in that mentality, in that mind, you would definitely fail. Because above everything, starting a company, first of all, requires you to be flexible, and plus, not like judgmental, because I've seen a lot of people, both in China and other countries, they start a business and then they start judging everything around them, even the field, like, oh, it should not be like that, we should be like this, etc., complaining all the time. As a business person, like, I like this quote by Elon Musk, like, it's, you need to be able to eat that glass and stare at the abyss. That's it. This is how it feels like. Sometimes you just have to shut up. Don't just judge everyone, or like even the mistakes or the problems you're encountering. Just move on. Be flexible. That's it.
Yes. Keep going.
Keep going. Yeah.
Okay. Well said. I really like that.
So.
Okay. So that's the right mentality of being a successful entrepreneur.
Well, I mean, China is the best place to learn this, because to be honest, let me tell you this. Maybe one of the best lessons I learned from my Chinese colleagues is Chinese business people. They are extremely flexible. They go to like, for example, there are so many countries around the world, and I travel a lot as well. And when we go to like some places where you never imagine that some business person comes there, you find some Chinese companies there. That means that they're quite flexible. They like challenges. Like in the middle of the desert, for example, when we traveled to the west of China, I saw this office in the middle of nowhere. You just go inside. There are two Chinese guys doing business. Why? Because there's demand for it. There's market for it. So that kind of mentality.
So they're
hungry, of course. Yeah.
Challenges.
Yes, all the time. You just have to stay like that.
Yep. That's fantastic. Right. I will keep asking questions. Sure. Right. Okay.
No problem.
I mean, when your business expands, obviously you need to hire more people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, how would you describe your leadership? Because as a business owner, you're not just managing yourself, you're managing the team.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. The leadership style we get is, sorry to say, but in business there's no democracy. It's not a country, because there are there are two types of companies. If you ask me, like, to generalize, there are two types of companies. One type of company, probably it's built on this kind of hear everyone and make a decision sort of style, which is maybe in big corporations like Google, etc., where you can you are free to talk. You talk to any executives and things like that. But we're not like that. My company, we are trying to position ourselves like a boutique company. So here is like, we set the direction, I set the direction, and then like I said, there's no democracy. Every employee, they have certain tasks, but in our case, I try to employ professionals and then direct them to different markets. Like Chinese market is taken by one person. Russian market, for example, Russian speaking market is one person, and then below them there are some common employees like that. Myself, for example, in the company, I am responsible for some of the services, like including contract drafting, English speaking clients, etc. So this is how we divide the tasks, and so the directions come from myself. In some of the companies, we have partnership with local, with some of my Chinese local partners. So in that case, we obviously discuss everything, and then we have this like shareholder meeting, and after that we come up with solutions and directions and orders. So we give orders to others, and then that's it. This is the final, and we give target time frame. So within the time frame, everybody should perform. Otherwise, after 1 or 2 warnings, they're gone. That's it. No time to waste.
That's not very tough, but I think that's something you've got to do as a business owner.
No, you have to. You have to. You cannot be nice. You cannot be nice. If you are nice, then
you find the right person who can fit in that role.
Yeah, and then you have to be extremely quick, because it's money and time. You cannot be just wasting money and time. It's impossible. So
exactly. When you look for employees, what kind of key attributes you look for?
First of all, being ethically right, at least in our business, because if the person is not ethically right, is not ethical, then they will try to take advantage of the situation sometimes. So morale of the person is extremely important. So we have this 3 months internship period. If we look for any employees, they have to go through this 3 months challenging period. So we test them in different aspects, you know. Yeah. So if they pass the test, and then we offer them full-time employment, which is actually happening with a few people nowadays. So yeah, that's the situation. But except that, of course, go-getters basically, because 3 months is enough to learn, and then become such a person that we don't have to tell them every small thing. They have to talk to clients, manage the portfolio. Yes, yes, exactly, exactly. There were some people, for example, who got fired. I employed before. They, for example, even after 3 months, they don't know the company websites, like information. Like, on the company website, we already put a lot of information for clients. So sometimes, those unqualified people who we unfortunately employ, they come back and ask, okay, this client is asking me this information, and I say, have you even checked the company website? Because on the company website, yeah, it is there. You should not ask me. It's already on the company website. Why don't you, go and learn the website first, because you are working for this company, for God's sake.
Do the homework first.
Yeah, do the homework, and that's it. No, I mean, I'm talking about the employees, unqualified. So what I demand from the employees is they need to learn the company very well first. If they don't know the company, they cannot work for this company. There's no room for it, you know.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, I've been, a business owner for a few years in the past, and I had completed the same, just exact same feeling as you really want your employee to make contribution, isn't it?
Of course.
You want to build a stage for them to shine.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, of course.
You give them the tools, the resources, but you want them to take initiative.
Exactly.
To do the job well, not just to follow the instructions. Sometimes they also need to think out of the box.
Of course.
So I think personally, I feel having entrepreneurial spirit, for employees sometimes is quite important as well.
Absolutely.
Not just like a working robot just to follow the instructions.
No, especially in our field. Especially in our field, Christina. Like when I employ someone, I always tell them that this is how consultancy work. This is how legal consulting work. Like after a few years, you can become a partner. You will become a partner. So you need to start with that mindset. It's not just a salary. We make partners. And right now, for example, in the company, we are 2 partners, but after 5-6 years, we make the employees partners if they qualify. Of course, this is how it works. So it comes with a lot of perks, actually. If you're not ready for it, probably you should not join. Like, again, it's a boutique company. We serve very high net worth profile people. I mean, I'm actually proud to talk about my clients. Our clients are very high net worth profile people, and also companies as well. It's not by accident. So we delivered that. We served well. Therefore, we attracted such clients. So such clients actually never forgive, because in business, these people, if you do some mistakes, which happened actually in our business, unfortunately, we learned this the hard way. Big companies, high net worth profile people, they don't forgive like many small mistakes. We cannot afford many mistakes.
They won't tolerate.
No,
yes.
they won't tolerate. They might say be nice and say okay, no problem, but then they leave you. That's it. They find an alternative, which we don't want.
They don't want to waste their time and
No,
resources.
no,
That's
no.
it.
Yeah.
Yep. Right. Well, I mean, learning all this about your business, your journey, I think some of the students actually might be interested to become your employee in future.
Yeah, potentially. Why not? No problem.
Your business.
Sure, of course.
Right. So what's your vision for the next step?
We keep expanding, of course. Like I mentioned, our direction is very, very traditional, and we position ourselves as a kind of unique boutique corporate consultancy, and we keep expanding our regions where we can serve in. Like, for example, right now, Chinese companies direction is Central Asia, so we are putting a lot of emphasis on it. We are increasing the number of services we are offering in Central Asia. Recently, for example, we started structuring one company which is building a factory in Kazakhstan, a Chinese company. That's the goal. Keep expanding, keep bettering the services quality wise. So
keep improving.
So
okay, fantastic. One last question.
No problem.
Yeah, it's something we've been discussing from our last lectures about the investment. Okay, there are some students, they're quite interested to know,
Sure.
Have you received any investment? I mean, how actually, well, if so, how did you do to successfully acquire?
Okay, probably, yeah, this question's, more related to the startup owners. Although we received quite a few offers, sometimes from time to time, I receive emails from potential investors. But again, they were introduced by our existing clients, sorry. Existing clients, they refer to some investors.
That's a really good sign.
Yeah. So, but, our position is very strict on that, specifically mine. Maybe it might sound a bit selfish, but, I'm not afraid to tell that. I don't share pizzas. I don't like to share. So what I want to do is, I want to...
Don't you want to get more like funding so that you can make...
No, not necessarily. Right now, we don't need that kind of... I mean, to be honest, it's not about the funding right now. Because we have enough people, we have enough resources to expand on our own. And then, because, probably one downside about investors is 99% of the time, they don't do the legwork. They don't, except for funding, they can give you the funding, right? Money is not a problem. They can give you but, they start like taking part in the management of the company, which I don't like. And they might require substantial amount of shares in exchange of the investment, which is not good in our business. But again, if you're a startup, then you need to really weigh your options. Probably it would be good for you, to give some shares and then get the money. But again, in my opinion, if you're able to build something on your own, and then maintain some control, like at least like more than 50% of your business, do that. Because otherwise you will end up losing your dream. You will end up losing your company, because investors are not like some random people. They are smart people. So if your startup is a very good idea, or potentially multi-million dollar business, they might actually take advantage of you, because business world is like that. There are not many nice people. So you just have to be ready for being eaten alive if you are not knowledgeable enough in the market.
Yeah. Well, they're very professional, very greedy as well.
Yes, of course.
They want the biggest,
biggest chunk, of course.
Share and return on investment. And
yes.
They might actually interfere into a management team.
Yes, it will. Actually, look at the accelerators, for example. There are so many accelerators in China, and I know how they operate. Some of them, not all, but some of them. They invest like some amount of money, but starting like share is around like 30% of the business, and 30% is that's quite a lot actually. So if you just like find the right people, and then like your own team, and just share the like structure with this team rather than investors, I think it's quite possible. Like one of the business people I really admire sometimes is like Kevin O'Leary. He's from the Shark Tank. So I like one of the quotes he keeps telling. He says, if you're not able to build business without any money, then you're not able to build any business with money. So that's the question you have to put, you have to ask yourself. Are you able to build something without anything? So you have to train yourself, in that atmosphere. Imagine there's no water, there's no nothing. Train yourself to build something in that atmosphere.
Being resourceful.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, making something out of nothing.
Out of nothing, exactly.
That's really a test of our entrepreneurs.
So this is one of the like concepts I really like to practice, at least in my business nowadays. But later on, if you really need funding, maybe there are different ways of attracting funding. Not like keeping the management, but then it might be possible to sell some shares, or take the company public, etc. That's quite possible. Yeah.
Okay, wow, fantastic. I mean, we've been learning so much from you, Alex, today. From your early days to now the expansion and your vision, and how you actually get your customers, how you actually retain them, which is fantastic. I mean, but now I would like to leave some time to our students.
Sure.
I'm sure they have a lot of questions they want to ask you. Right, so I will start to take questions now. Okay, so if anyone wants to ask questions, please type a question in the chat box. Okay. Someone is asking about what is the best sourcing platform. What do you mean by sourcing?
Product sourcing, probably.
Product sourcing. Okay, Alex.
Okay, well, product sourcing, again, the same, point I need to repeat. If you really want to get ahead of your competitors, like competition, you should not rely on sourcing products from platforms. In China, actually, all these platforms, they are the second or third like layer. First layer is only through personal connections. Like, for example, we receive sometimes product sourcing inquiries from different clients, and I'm not going to go on Alibaba, or I'm not going to go on Taobao, try to source a product. No, it doesn't work like that. What we're going to do is we will use our own network. There are some big factory owners. Sorry? Yeah. So we use our connections, who are sometimes factory owners or factory executives, to source products through them. Because some of the factories I know for a fact, factories, like really good factories, they don't even have any profile on Alibaba. They don't have any profile on any of these platforms. So to answer the question, if you really want to source good quality, good products, you should go offline. You should develop connections. But if you're not able to do that, starting point is, of course, Alibaba. Yeah, you can start from there.
We lost you, Alex, but I guess your answer is trying to build like personal connection with factories and
Yes.
source them directly.
Yes, exactly.
Is that a better option than sourcing things online?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yes.
Yeah, because the line is a bit broken. Right. The next question from our students: where we can get right information about registering a company in China, and the rules and regulations for operating in China. I mean, can Alex direct them trying to point them to the right direction, or give them a website link?
This is the website.
Or they could contact you after our today's workshop for more advice.
Well, this is the website.
Okay.
Our company's website is a good starting point, because that's a good question actually. Because unfortunately, the local governments in China, they don't have one platform where they announce all the policies and rules. It doesn't happen. In China, unfortunately, how do we operate is we contact the local government, we work with them, we get the policy, which is all in Chinese, and we put the news and updates on our website in English. So that's how it works. You cannot find one platform which is like controlled by the government, and no. This is a bit challenging for business owners, but this is the situation here.
Okay, good. So if our students wants to find some useful information, they can just get to your website, and be able to see those information.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a lot of like articles.
Many documentations, they're all in Chinese. It's really hard for them to read and understand.
Exactly.
Okay, that's great. The next question: what is your suggestion regarding investment for beginners who don't have a business knowledge about? Okay, but they want to try.
Well, if they don't have any business experience, I highly encourage them to find a job in the industry they want to start a business in, and spend some time working for this company, learn the industry. Otherwise, you start a company, registering a company is not hard. It's very easy. But even if you have a company, you don't understand how to run it, you don't know the knowledge, you don't have the knowledge to maintain it, then you just end up spending a lot of time. So I recommend you find a job in that industry and then learn it first. Then, start the company.
Great. Yes. Yeah. They could be an intern, and they could actually be an employee after graduation.
Exactly.
To understand the needs of the market.
Exactly.
I think that's also very important.
Exactly. Because in business, one of the overlooked things by starting a company is a lot of people end up like registering the company, but they don't know how to run it. But taxes and filings and compliance, they don't wait for you. They don't care about your excuses. Nobody gives a damn about the excuse, to be honest. Sorry about my language, but it's knocking on the door every month. So you need to pay your taxes, even if the company is not making any profits. Still, you need to keep filing. You need to hire an accountant. So they don't care about your excuse. Yes, running costs are always there. You need to keep your office If you don't have an office, the government is not going to give you a visa here in China. So again, my recommendation is develop the necessary skills first, and probably like through that company that you're working for, develop the skills how to work with clients, even for trading, whatever field you want to do business in, and then slowly, gradually open your company and then transition.
Oh, that's really good advice. It's very practical. Yeah. Another question. Someone asked, what is the cost implications of transforming student visa to business visa, as well as work visa?
I mean, there's no cost involved. If you speak Chinese, again, speak Chinese, first of all, student visa cannot be transferred into business visa. You don't need a business visa if you're already in China, a student, on a student visa. So you can actually start a company right before you graduate with a student visa. But then once you have the company license and everything ready, you can switch to work visa for free. But there's a visa fee that is collected by the immigration, which is around 400 yuan if it's less than 1 year, and 800 yuan, which is if your visa is 1 year. Because work visa, it doesn't come in one length. You have to go through interview nowadays. The immigration office is going to interview you. They will ask a bunch of questions about your company, business, why you want to start the company, etc. If they're not satisfied with your answers, most likely your visa will be less than 1 year. And then they will ask you, when you go back and extend your visa, they will ask you to bring proof of business. This is everywhere. So to the earlier question, it's even happening with the immigration. So if you're not able to maintain your company, you can say goodbye to your work visa. This is the first.
Okay, that's true. Okay, so the cost is quite affordable.
There's no cost. It's just
they have to go through the interview.
Yes, absolutely. Because right now China is developing rapidly. So if you, for example, compare China to the US policy in terms of opening a company and then getting a work visa through the same company, still China offers a lot of flexibility, a lot of options for people who want to start and test the market. Unlike, for example, if you want to do the same thing in the US or in UK, for example, just you can try it because it's our field and that's how I know. You start a company in the UK and then try employing yourself with a work visa. By local policies there, you have to inject minimum like 2 million pounds sterling, and then like a lot of requirement. In the case of US, you need to,
especially for foreigners.
Especially for, I'm talking about non-EU citizens, foreigners. So in the US, for example, you need to invest minimum 150K and then employ at least like 5 US citizens, and then you are able to employ yourself as a foreigner, bring yourself to the US. China still offers a lot of flexibility in that term. They give you 5-year period to inject the capital, which can be as low as 10,000 yuan. But still, people sometimes try to complain and say, wow, it's very hard to get a work visa in China. Obviously, it should be hard because there's a lot of people already taking advantage of this flexibility, setting up empty companies, and then employing themselves. Immigration obviously knows this. Immigration office, they know. They try to filter now. They try to filter the qualified business people who are able to run the company, able to make money. Otherwise, there's no sense of, keeping the work visa.
Yeah, but the good thing is the Chinese government hasn't asked for different amount of registered capital for foreigners, isn't it?
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter whether you're Chinese or foreigners. You pay the same. You have the same threshold for the registered capital, which is quite beneficial.
Yes.
Because in the UK, as far as I know, it's completely different. For foreigners, it's much, much higher, as you said. If you want to get a work visa or you want to register the company as a foreigner in the UK, you need to inject quite a substantial amount of money.
I think Muhammad is asking another question. He's asking when we graduate, our visa will expire. No, that's not the case. Actually, when you graduate, universities here in China, they give you temporary stay visa, which is usually valid for 1 month. So this is it's called the humanitarian visa, if I'm not mistaken. Humanitarian visa is similar to the UK's postgraduate visa. But in UK, you have this 2-year postgraduate. In China, it's 1 month. A bit shorter, but still 1 month is quite enough to open a company and, transition to work visa is enough. So that's how it works. You don't have to worry about that. You can tell the international office at your university, say that you're starting a company in China, and they will, so they are aware as well, and they give you this 1 month transition visa.
Yeah. Gosh, 1 month is still a little bit short, isn't it?
It is.
I would hope it can be longer than that.
Well, we hope that they will. Hope that they will, increase it. I don't know, but 1 month is very standard.
If you could, that if your business can, provide some support to our students, I'm sure. I mean, you will get everything completed within 1 month.
Yeah, actually, you don't have to complete everything within 1 month, because that 1 month visa is extendable to another month, etc.
Oh, I see.
Provided you are in the middle of registration of a company. Because when you go for extension of that 1 month humanitarian visa, they will ask for the proof of business registration, or at least you have to provide that the evidence that you are doing it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So as long as you can show them that you are pushing things forward, then the 1 month visa can be renewed.
Yes, it can be. It can be renewed. Yeah.
Right. That's good. Someone asks, is there any special legal requirement for import-export business?
Well, there are many legal requirements depending on the products. In China, on the business license, you can put around 300 Chinese characters in terms of company's activities. So company activity can include a lot of categories, products, what kind of products you want to import or export. So based on this, there are requirements. Some products, they require special permit, special license. For example, medical products or edible products like food and beverage. You have to apply for special permits and licenses based on exact products.
Yeah. Okay, so that really depends on what kind of products you're going to sell. I think different industries have different regulations.
Exactly. But they are all
For
manageable.
Example, for food, it's going to be quite complicated.
Yes. This is the job of a consulting company, actually. So when you are trying to do everything yourself, probably it's going to be super complicated if the products are special products like these edible products. But this is how this is where we come in. We consult, we take care of the whole process and make it simple.
Well, fantastic. I mean, just out of curiosity, what kind of cost would it be for our students if they want to use your consultancy service?
Well, first of all,
for business registration.
Yeah, no problem. First of all, we require the clients to again, take the step forward, so to speak. This is how we know anybody, like it can be students, it can be citizens of any other country just doing business here. Purchase a paid consultancy, because otherwise we don't take them as serious, clients. Because like we talked earlier, there's a lot of people like interesting people. They ask you a bunch of questions and then they run away. So in order to put everything to organize everything, so to speak, so that we are working, we should know that we are working with a serious person who is intending to start a business. They should take the serious step, which is purchasing a paid consultancy. And after that, if we take the job, if we set up their company, we deduct the same consultants, like the amount that they paid for the consultancy, and as if the consultancy is free for them. After that, we deduct from the total amount. Now, regarding the total amount, in our company, it starts from 10,000 yuan and upwards. 10,000 yuan for a very, very basic company registration package, which is for common products, import and export, which do not require any sort of special license or permit. And then if you have some special requirements, or you want to do some VAT refund, for example, some additional services you want us to take care of, the agreements, etc., it goes up, obviously. So
So I think why the students quite interesting, that question, because they need to sum up all the cost in their mind to see what kind of the starting cost for them to is it affordable or not?
Of course. Of course. I mean, 10,000 yuan, you should be looking. This is a market price actually in China. This is the starting point. If you contact any consultancy company, actually, this is if we have enough time, I would like to include something as well, which in our field, you go lower than 10,000 yuan, I'm sure there are some companies offering, registration packages, which are even like, I don't know, 5,000 yuan or even cheaper than that. But I highly, highly encourage people to work with companies only, starting from 10,000 and up. Otherwise, you will end up, working with a highly unprofessional company, which I'm sure they will mess up your business. Because we have some clients, for example, who took consultancy from us, and then we quoted them, right? They didn't like the quotation. They said, okay, well, we found this cheaper company. They ended up working with them. After 6 months or 7 months, they contact me back. They say, sorry, I should have listened to you, because this company, messed up our company. Like they registered something, and then, they didn't know how to obtain this license, or they didn't include this kind of thing. So that's very, very important. So you should work with a professional company, which knows what they're doing. Otherwise, yeah.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, as a business owner, right? Our students, future business owner, they need to make sure when they start, everything's in the right place, isn't it?
Of course.
I mean, the registration actually ties with future licensing application as well.
Of course.
And the products that they are allowed to sell, and the export VAT or something they could claim back. So this is quite complicated, and it's all in the chain. They have to make sure, the starting point is correct.
Yes.
They want, the consultancy service they use is really reliable.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good.
And unfortunately, there are some unethical companies as well. So there was a case, actually. We had a client who was in this similar situation. They purchased the consultancy, but they didn't like the quotation that we gave. It's rare, but it happens, this kind of thing. So they went on with the cheaper consulting company. They set up the company, but then literally like a few days ago, he contacted me back. He said, we found out that this consulting company set up our company in a way that they put their own name in it. Nothing related to us. Yeah, that's very unethical thing to do.
Yes.
Yeah. So they put their own name so that they could somehow, get access to the bank accounts, because some of the elements, if you don't see some of the paperwork, if you don't see, you, especially, when the clients, foreigners,
students,
you don't know the paperwork during the application. Unfortunately, there are some people or companies who are
hidden risks.
Very unethical. They put their name, and then gradually they get access to your bank account, and it happens. So what we did is basically we instructed them to shut down the company, and they are registering the company again in Shanghai now. Yes.
Okay. Right. Ooh, wow. Yep. Okay. One more question. Okay. Someone asked, I have a teaching experience for 4 years. So if I plan an institution in China, can I hire foreign teachers in China?
Well, unfortunately, education license in China is stopped. They're not giving it away like easily like before. Previously, around 5 years ago, a little bit, before the pandemic, it was possible to start teaching institution or like a ESL school or even like kindergarten. And it was possible to obtain such a license for such business. But now it's not possible. Well, not like entirely possible, but it is only open for big corporations, which are able to invest, first of all, $5 million and up in paid-in capital. So that's the reason why you can see across China there are only a few ESL teaching schools open, but they all belong to big companies. And that's point number one. Point number two is actually teaching visa attached to this company is quite special visa. Unfortunately, it's only open for, if we are talking about like teaching English, it's only open for native speakers of English. So you need to come from US, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, UK, and they included South Africa as well. So you need to come from those countries. But if you're talking about like subject teaching, it goes back to the earlier point I made. You need to get education license, but only if you're able to invest like, very high. And $5 million is just one part of it. You need to own, if I'm not mistaken, like like building, which is not smaller than 2,000 square meters. It's quite a lot. So it has to be like a building that can be used for these educational purposes.
Yeah.
And of course,
Yes. That's what I'm aware as well, because I'm aware the government has placed quite strict policies on educational institutions in case they run away with the money.
Exactly. Yes.
They get from parents. And
Okay. It's not easy. It's not easy to get the educational license nowadays. Even for big institutions, they have to. Even if you qualify financially, you don't have any problems with money. You need to still apply and wait. And waiting period for educational license is like more than 1 year nowadays.
More than 1 year.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's no guarantee it will be approved. Even for big institutions.
Okay. I think that's going to put off a lot of foreign people who want to set up an education institution in China now.
Well, to be honest, China is taking it very seriously, the education field. So it's not easy.
Yeah. Okay. Right. I think we only have a time to take one more question. I'm just wondering, any of the audience might want to ask last question.
Maybe we.
I also wondering, Alex, will you be able to share your contact information here? Although I have the slides, but if you could just quickly type your email address here, I think that's going to be really useful. Yeah, great. Yeah.
This is WeChat, company WeChat. They can add if they want.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, today, I think it's quite useful to myself as well, because I set up a business in 2012 in the UK and 2014 in China.
All right.
Well, I think I had a lot of a culture shock, after living like 10 years in the UK and, came back from UK back to Wuhan to set up my business.
Right.
I mean, the way the business was run in two countries are quite different.
Yeah, quite different.
Yeah.
Well, that's
team members as well. So I used to have team members from the UK, and then team members in Wuhan.
Yeah.
I mean, the way we manage them will be quite different as well. Because the culture within the organization.
Yeah, absolutely. In China, it's more like a hierarchy, different.
Yes.
Yeah, getting order directly from the manager. But yeah, I mean, I think it's.
I'm not a person who likes to do that, but I find actually it works better.
No, it works better because of the cultural thing. Yes, of course. Unfortunately, that's the case.
Team members would like to do more brainstorming. They love to have democracy in the company, in the team.
Yeah, exactly.
We always have a debate,
Exactly. In China, it's a bit different, but younger generation, they are a bit different, to be honest. Like, especially the ones who are educated abroad or studying in universities like Fudan, for example, they are quite different.
Yeah.
But they are still minority.
Yeah, but as a business owner, if you're going to hire someone who have education abroad,
sure.
I mean, are you going to adjust your management style?
No, of course. I mean, gradually, when I mentioned that in our company there's no democracy, I meant.
Yes, you've been very honest with that.
Yeah. Well, I meant, to be honest, probably it's due to the fact that I haven't met or maybe I haven't looked far enough to find such assistants or team members who could challenge myself in terms of company direction. Of course, I'm quite open as a business person. Like I said, I'm flexible, and who knows? Like in the future, maybe if we find such people, why not? We could change the style a bit.
As long as the person who's very professional and also works well in the team, isn't it?
Of course.
I mean, why not? I mean,
because there's a.
You'd love to have someone.
Exactly. Business is not like one like rule fits everyone, right? We have to be flexible first of all, and there's a saying by this very famous Chinese business owner Jack Ma, founder of Alibaba. One of the key elements of building a successful business is you find smarter people than yourself and employ them or put them together.
Smarter people are really hard to manage.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the key actually. It's harder to manage, but you find the key and you hit the jackpot, just like Jack Ma. That's the thing. That's the challenge.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Alex. If there are one more thing you want to say to our student today, what would you what kind of advice you would like to give it to them?
Okay, that's a very challenging question, to be honest. Probably most difficult question. Okay, I can repeat the same advice that I gave to my assistant who I hired recently, who is a student actually, who's a student, is about to graduate now. He's still like, not sure what he wants to do. So I told him this, you need to ask yourself, you need to sit down and ask yourself one question, whether you want to build a career and you want to work for some company and be very stable, have a very stable life, want to receive salary every month, or are you the type of person who want to build something and then enjoy it later? So that is the core question, because at the end of the day, what we are doing here,
question,
this is the principal question actually. At the end of the day, what we are doing here, we are discussing whether to start a business or not, right? So this is the point of this. So this question you need to ask yourself, because nobody else can answer it for you. You are the only one who can answer this question. So you ask yourself, what type of person are you? Are you the type of person you like this, very stable environment? If that's the case, if the answer is yes, do not start a business. Sorry, but no. Because starting a business is not all like, some people make this mistake actually. They think that I'm going to register a company and then maybe after 1 month, 2 months, I will start earning. No. you start a business probably within the next 6 months, probably you may not make any money or any means of like a survival financially. So you need to be ready for it sometimes. So
so sometimes the attributes of a good entrepreneur is born within this, isn't it? It's all about finding
finding ways,
what we want.
Exactly. Because that's the core question, maybe to build your future, so to speak. Like what sort of life you want to start with the end in mind. There's another quote for like you need to imagine the end. What do you want to do actually in this life? What is the goal here? If you want to travel around the world, maybe you should do that. You should not wait to start a company. That's the thing. Because many people dream of something else, and then they think that only I want to achieve that just by building the business. No, I think that's the totally wrong way to approach it. If you want to travel, for example, go for it. You can like travel and then find some freelancing job to do. Or if you want to build a restaurant, that's your dream, maybe you should start building that immediately, not like waste time like building import and export company. So
exactly. It's all about deciding what you want to do, what kind of direction you're going to take, isn't it? I mean, in our previous sessions we've been discussing about petal exercises, work-life reviews, by using mind map tools. It's all about finding your strengths, your what really excites you, what would you like to do, and how balanced you want your life and work going to be. So all these factors will determine what kind of career you want to take, isn't it?
And also exposing yourself as much as possible is going to help you
to different possibilities.
Sometimes people are afraid of change, and therefore also like social pressure. They think that, if I change and what others are going to say culturally, etc. But none of that matter, to be honest with you. Your friends who might say like, wow, this guy is like very changeable, in 5 years they don't even know you. It's like nobody really cares about the life that you're going to have except for yourself. So I would say that don't be afraid of change. If you are interested in medicine, go for it, study it, irrespective of your age. If you like import and export, go for it, try it. That's how you expose yourself. That's it.
It's great. No limitation. Okay, just try it.
Just try. That's it.
By doing it, you will understand how much you could do, isn't it? And you learn from that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Alex.
Thank you too. Likewise, really appreciate it.
Well, it's wonderful to talk to you today, and we'll definitely keep in touch. Okay, if I have students who have more questions, we'll possibly divert those questions to you, and again, if you need any support from us, please do ask.
Thank you.
Well,
thank you, Christina. Have a great evening, and speak to you guys soon. Thank you.
Good luck to your business.
Thank you.
Okay, hope to see you in London one day.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Christina. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex.
Bye. Thanks.